Welcome back to Nick Lenz Comic Corner, Classic Us Non-Classics. This is episode number 2749 and double shot number 2643. Today we are discussing, for this Comic Corner, issues 273 to 291, 293, 294, and 297 to 300. Yes, I'm going to cap off the 300s, the 200s with this review. Yes, I figured that why not. Starting first with 273. This issue is basically just Batman versus gang because it will kill him with a freaking cannon. Yeah, all a bunch of one-shot criminals. This was written by David Warner Reed, art by Ernie Chen. 274, it's Batman versus a female assassin. Basically, the whole thing is to do with the Underworld Olympics. Yeah, this goes on for like 3 straight issues, the whole Underworld Olympics. Yeah, this goes on to I think 276, I think it was. Actually, 275. 276 is the one-off Return of the Spook. Yes, he's back here. For reasons. This was his first appearance in the book since issue 252. Yep. He may not return again until a little bit later. I'll get back to that. $277 is Batman versus this weird creature. I think it's some smugglers. Stop me before I kill Batman. And this issue is still done by David Warren Reed. The guy called the Regular. If you're curious, how long does David Vern Reed stay as a writer for Batman? Like at this point in time. His last issue, believe it or not, is issue 304. So we're getting very close to wrap up his era for the book. Now, 279 is the return of Robin and they take on the Riddler. This is also apparently the first issue where Jeanette Kahn became first issue of Batman series where Jeanette Kahn was the publisher. Yep. Moving on to 280. The only crime in town is basically Batman versus. Well, one of the characters he must be named after Archie Goodwin. Yeah, you can think of it as it's a clock themed story, and the villains are one-shot characters. And then we have 281, where Batman goes to Hungary. They were the Hungry Secret Police. 282. Basically four doorways danger. It's Batman versus 4 random guys dressed in random outfits. And then we have 283, Batman versus a guy called Omega, this shapeshifter guy. And then we have Batman versus Sorcerer, Dr. Zenzan. Who, believe it or not, does appear frequently after this issue. Yeah, he appears in this issue, and the following issue he returns in 290. If you're really curious, he first appeared in Detective Comics 354. You're like, okay, it's a Batman vs. Sorcerer. Okay. Zenzel basically was a better villain than this guy is. And in 286, Batman deals with a Joker. With a play park thing, also deal with a Joker imposter. Yes, a Joker imposter. And this is about Daniel O'Neill, Arvin Nemrick. And then we have 287, Return of the Penguin. Yes, the Penguin's issue. And Mike Grohl is the artist of this. Yes, Mike Grohl takes over the artwork of this issue. With issue, I think it was 288. He takes over the artwork for this issue for Batman. He's only here to a 290. And he does do 400, do his artwork for that one. And that was last issue we did Batman. But it's nice to see his artwork. I don't think it's Ernie Chan, but I like my girl's artwork better. And then 289, take out a guy called Skull Digger, who's here for 2 issues. He gets killed off his next appearance. Yep. And then after dealing with him, then we deal with a 4-part storyline that starts in 291 and ends in 294. I've discussed 292 already. It's a storyline where you and Night Batman was killed, where each of the villains basically take turns basically having their spotlight. Oh, and the attendees this particular one are Catwoman, the Joker, Lex Luthor, the Imposter Mad Hatter, Mr. Freeze, Poison Ivy, Ra's al Ghul, who is the judge of this thing, the Riddler, Scarecrow, Single Man, Spook, and Two-Face, who's actually Batman. We deal with testing with Catwoman, and then we have 290. Well, our text gets 292 already, thanks to Riddler trade. 293. This is quite interesting. They bring in Lex frickin' Luthor for this issue, and we also get experience by Superman, all due to the parent death of Batman. And then basically 294 concludes the story. But it turns out, nope, Batman never died. He was perfectly fine. He faked his death, posted Two-Face all along. But it was a really fun story. I loved it. Next up we have is 297. Where Batman deals with the Imposter Mad Hatter. That's written by Jason Barr. And then we have The Curse of the Crimson Coffin from 298 with Batman versus these assassins. These Cobb Mummeries. Which continues over in issue number 299. 300 is a flash forward story. It is done by Walt Simonson, the artwork of this one. Dave Vernon does the artwork. It is mostly put basically as like, oh, what if Batman retired and have Dick take over as Batman? The issue I thought was really good. I didn't think anything wrong with this one. Yeah, it's an imaginary story, but I love this issue. It was fantastic. I'm going to give, for some of these issues, I'm going to give basically the 3-parter Underworld Olympics. I'm going to give that a 9. I'm going to give that an 8. I like the Riddler one. I give that a 9. Probably by far the best issues of this whole book is the multi-storyline Who Killed Batman. Like, I like that one. I like the ones with Joker, Riddler, and Penguin. The Imposter Mad Hatter 300 was really good. It's like it starts off with okay and it gets better as time goes on. But with this, I'm done with 200's Batman. Yep. Finally with 300's, which of course basically Dave Werner, I basically cap up his one pretty quickly with the book. Alright, next up we have is Action Comics. Now, we're here discussing Action Comics Weekly, but it's still referred to as Action Comics. We're here discussing issues 601 to 621. Yes, now for these stories here, when I get back to this, I'll cap off this particular era for Action Comics. The reason I'm doing this is because I had not covered this area for Action Comics, so why not discuss it? Now, the following stories, I'm not discussing this review and other review, and I did come back to this, are going to be the Superman stories in this book, which are 2 pages. The stories feature Nightwing and Arsenal, and Blackhawk. These stories, not going to be discussed here, because I've discussed those already in separate trade reviews. One for Superman, Power Within, the Nightwing Arsenal is a trade for that one, and the Blackhawk one, which I've discussed already. Now, the primary lead feature of this book that basically drives the whole thing the whole way through, aside from Superman, there's only one other feature here the whole time. And that feature is Green Lantern. The opening issue basically starts off Green Lantern, where you have Jon Stewart's wife, who is an alien, by the way, in her apartment, just doing normal things at home, and all of a sudden, Kara Ferris shows up and murders her. A few issues later, basically, Jon Stewart nearly tries to kill Kara Ferris for basically killing his wife. Yeah. And what are the other stories in here? Well, there's all stories here for Wild Dog, Dead Man, and Secret Six. This is the second Secret Six, basically, for DC Comics. Yeah, if you're curious who writes these issues, well, this storyline came out right after the Green Lantern ongoing series ended. Now, Christopher Priest does the Green Lantern story, Green O'Kane in the artwork. Wild Dog is done by Max Allan Collins, who was his creator, with Terry Beatty in the artwork. The Secret Six story is Marion Priest going Dan Spiegel. And Dead Man is Mike Barron and Dan Jurgens. By the way, Jon Stewart's wife's name is Kumar Tai. Yeah, and she gets murdered in this issue. And the reason why she murdered her, because basically she was looking for Hal Jordan. And this apparently is associated with women refrigerator stuff. Yeah, this very issue is associated with that. And the reason? Because a woman gets killed to advance a male character story. Yeah. In the case of Wild Dog, well, it's him basically just dealing with... He's basically just a vigilante. This comes, I think, just after his own ongoing series ended. Actually, it was a mini-series he had. Yeah, after he had his mini-series, he basically appeared here from 601 to basically, like... He appeared here for quite a while, until, like, 641. And then he was out of the book. Most of what he does is normal vigilante stuff. Secret Six. This is the first appearance of the second version, Secret Six. Which only exists in these issues for Action Comics. With these members, Anthony Magida, Lydia Jamal, Luke Kendrick, Mary Video, Mitch Sherman, and Vic Summers. We even have brought back the original Secret Six. And we have new Mockingbird. Well, Mockingbird in this book, basically, well, it's technically the original Mockingbird. This was the return of the Secret Six. They're kind of like a spy group. Not the Gail Simone book, per se, but it's a good story. Dead Man basically deals with, well, there's the first appearance of Tulloch, who's the character exclusively created for Action Comics. Now, at the start, of course, for Dead Man's story, his feature was drawn by Dan Jurgens, and then he got replaced about halfway through these issues with Kelly Jones, a guy who would do his miniseries in the 90s. Basically, he's like Denmark with the CIA. And that's kind of in the way what the storyline is for him. And in the case of Secret Six, mostly put their team up with the original Secret Six. Well, actually, they work with them. To do more spy work. It's a very self-contained feature for them. Basically, the Green Lantern one is basically like where the whole story with these issues is that Hal is off in space because Carol's looking for where Carol does find him, and then apparently she beats him and puts him in chains. And of course, everyone's wondering what the heck Green Lantern is. He's not dating Carol this period of time. She's gone crazy because of the power of the Tamarians. And then, of course, Jon Stewart, like, they're asking him questions about the Green Lantern, and of course, he is a Green Lantern, but he's not the Green Lantern looking for. He points out, though, you got the wrong guy. How? The guy looking for is the white one. And that's not a racist thing, because basically it's just to tell the difference between him and Hal. Of course, he does not have a legal reason to tell them that Hal Jordan is the previous Green Lantern. Surprisingly, no Guy Gardner in these issues. There's no mention of him at all. And also, the Green Lantern Corps of Earth have disbanded because the book got canceled due to low sales. So, He's up for Congress, and then of course Cara Ferris shows up, and as soon as he sees her, his ring shows up. He goes in a rage and beats the crap. He basically, in a way, kind of kills her. But the thing is, she used her power to fake her death, basically to make him crazy. Also, Arisa, who was a character from, well, she had started eating Hal during this period of time, but she's actually quite young. Yeah. And she's here for basically a lot of this feature. She's basically here as Hal's girlfriend. Uh, First starting, she disappears for a little bit, and she comes back for 607. She's here basically about 620, and then she's gone for the book. Yeah, and Hal is basically dating her the whole time. Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's also one point where Hal Jordan is basically called to go to appear on Oprah. Yes, freaking Oprah. But I love the Green Lantern feature of this book. I will discuss more of it later, but damn, this book was so good. I do enjoy the whole other stories. You know, like the Dead Man one was really cool. Uh, Wild Dog, basically, his stuff is really good too. Secret Six is just pure awesome stories. It's good spy work, and I love it. Yep. Now, these are the only stories in here? No. Uh, Basically, and also in these issues, we get introduced to we have Hal visiting Green Arrow when he was living in Seattle, and tells him to leave. And this whole scene is here to do one reason, one thing. This Black Canary's feature in the book. Yes, that's why I think she's appearing in Green Arrow. They go basically like all over the place. Oh, the whole thing with Oprah is that he's asked like, "How'd you get the real answer?" Because I'm fear, and people laugh at it, and Hal leaves. At one point, she was basically wondering where the heck she is. Yeah, then basically in issue 609, Black Canary returns to the book. The cover image is kind of odd because it's her burning her costume she gained in Detective Comics. Why? I have no idea why. Also, she becomes the lead feature of the book. Green Lantern gets demoted to the last feature of the book. Yeah, and so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's like 6 features in the book. Basically, she replaces the Blackhawk feature. That's basically what she's here for, replacing the Blackhawk feature. It's basically her going out on her own, doing her own solo stories. I kind of wish DC would collect this in trade, but it isn't in trade for some reason. The Superman stuff, basically, by the way, Sharon Wright does the writing for this issue, Black Canary. I found something interesting about Sharon Wright. She was actually married to a particular writer. At one point, she was married to Mike Grell. Yep. And if you're curious, like Black Canary feature is here for a little while. I think it was with this time where they replaced. No, not yet. And then they ended. I think it was what Secret Six ended. No, they ended the Wild Dog feature with issue 609 and replaced it with Phantom Stranger, where it's him dealing with Bruce Gordon, aka the Eclipso. Yeah. Oh, and in case you're curious though, how long is Black Canary as a feature in this book? Excuse me. She's in the book from 610 to basically, well, she's here for pretty much the rest of the feature until basically she's here about 635. So I won't be discussing her whole feature per se, but some of it. Yeah, there's also this flower shop that appears in this book called Sherwood Forest, which is, well, a shop that Green Arrow and Black Canary own, which of course stopped appearing in the Green Lantern book, Green Arrow book, once Mike Grohl left the book. Yes. And appeared here for this one issue. He appeared in an episode of Arrow. You probably thinking, did they add more features in this book at this point in time? Well, then with the very next issue, 611, they end. Not Secret 6. Phantom Stranger was only here for one issue. They placed it with Catwoman with a Tin Roof storyline. The Tin Roof Club. Starts in issue 611 to 614. This kind of in a way basically is, for some reason, considered it's basically like, I thought it was collected, apparently it wasn't. This book brought in Holly Robinson, who dies in this 4-part story, but she comes back. It's a very interesting feature for Catwoman. I thought this was collected in because it's worth a trade for, but apparently it isn't. The writer of this book storyline is Minnie Nero, and who wrote basically right after this, Catwoman got her own miniseries right after this book, right after this storyline wrapped up, which only lasted 4 issues. Yeah. Now, what replaces her feature right after she leaves? Like, is there anything that does replace it? Well, let's see. The Deadman feature ends, the first one anyways, in 612, and he's replaced with Nightwing, the very big Phantom Stranger for a story. And then with 614, well, the Catwoman feature is wrapped up, and Nightwing continues his feature, but I've already discussed his feature already. The Green Lantern stuff is just pure awesomeness. I love the Green Lantern story. Yep. And then, of course, basically, of course, Blackhawk comes back to the book. Green Lantern once again takes over as lead feature. Basically, with issue 615, after briefly not having it for a little while. Blackhawk is back in the book, which we discussed already. Wild Dog returns for another feature. Yeah. Of course, Hal and RSO, a group called Freak Show, who are here for a few issues. Yeah. That's kind of what deals with them. The Wildlife feature, his second one, lasts from 615 to 622. So he has technically 3 features in this book. First is Moral Stand, which takes 601, 609. This is Fatal Distraction, which I'm not going to discuss the whole thing of this one. And there's Cracked Up, which is basically his finale and his miniseries. Yeah, it's him basically dealing with like a serial killer. And also the debut of his own psychic, Wild Pup, who's only here for this feature and never appears ever again. Like, at what point does Deadman come back in the book? Also, the first Secret 6 feature ended with, I think it was 612. Yeah, I think 612 ended the Secret 6 feature. Yeah. Secret Six, yeah, ended their first run in the book. They will return a little bit later. Yep. And of course, well, the Bitter Fruit storyline gets concluded with 616 after going since issue 609. Yeah, the Freak Show stuff goes on, like I mentioned, at 620. And I think it's Black Canary's feature end. No, she comes back. But that particular story ends. But then we have Assault on Green. Like, hers does not... Basically, her feature gets placed with Phantom Stranger comes back in the book. Actually, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I think it just keeps there for a bit. Yeah, by the way, I love the cover 618, which is a good homage to the old Batman cover. Yep. Yeah, and also Nightwing feature ends with 618, and we continue with 619, where this is when they bring back Deadman in the book, and this is when they replace him with for Dan Part. This is the one they replaced with Kelly Jones, and Mike Barron still does the artwork here. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so basically first deal with the CIA, now we deal with zombie stuff. Interesting. Also, Secret Six is back. Yep. Yeah, they're back here after being absent for a few issues. Yeah, they left with issue 612 and they came back with 619. They're here basically to 630. I'll discuss more about them later. Yeah, 620 is basically to get rid of the whole group of the Freak Show, and then 621 deals with elite design consultants. Basically, how it goes back to being a test pilot. Like, okay, interesting. Oh yeah, and Hal Jordan's power hour gets destroyed in 621, his story. Um, but still, really good stories here. I don't find anything wrong here per se. Nothing really bad. I kind of wish basically like I kind of wish basically that DC would release some of this stuff in trade. But the stories in here, the Green Lantern stuff is really gonna give that a 9. The Black Canary stuff is quite interesting. I also give that a 9. Wild Dog, a 9. I pretty much give all the features I basically kind of discussed here a 9. Phantom Stranger, I give that a 9 point because I love Phantom Stranger. Yep. But we're not done discussing action comics yet. Well, this era anyway, so let's discuss it another time. But overall, I give 601, 621 a 9.5 out of 10. Yep. But really fun issues. Yep. Like I mentioned, I did not discuss Superman, Nightwing and Arsenal, and Blackhawk. Because they're trades, I clicked those already, and I've already discussed already for those. Yep. So that's been pretty much a particular view. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn notifications, and do not dislike button. Next up is Konosuba. Okay, next view. Bye.